to another episode of the Provocative Podcast. All right, so last week, as many of you guys know, I did not record an episode. I took some personal time for myself last week. I was going through some stuff. I don't want to get too much in detail with it. It's very personal. So, I just felt like I needed some time for myself, guys. So I really apologize for not coming on the podcast. I hated it. It took all of me not to come on here. But if you guys know me and have been following me on Instagram since I started, you guys know that I try to be as real as possible. And I don't go on social media, even though it's my job, I don't go on social media if I'm not feeling my best. I just don't like to put on a front or fake some energy that I don't have, because I don't want to start faking it and then feel like I have to fake it in my everyday life. Like, that's just not me. So if I don't feel my best and I don't feel like I can show up for you guys, I just won't, because I don't want to portray a fake life or, any kind of negative energy on you guys. So last week I was just going through some shit, like hard shit. And so I took some time for myself, and being the workaholic that I am, it was really, really hard to do that. But, if I felt like I needed it, and I'm so happy to be back. I've missed you guys so much. And I know I don't get to see you guys, but just talking on the podcast is just such a good outlet for me. And I honestly enjoy doing it so, so much. So I'm happy to be back. If you guys missed an episode, I'm sorry. I'm glad. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me give you guys a little intro of the last 2 weeks, I guess. So I came back from my dark sports shoot from LA. That was an incredible shoot. I just posted one of the photos that I got back yesterday. Just an incredible shoot overall. Vibing with them was just absolutely amazing, and I'm just really looking forward to more shoots in the future. And yeah, I love the company. It was a great time. The initiation was a lot better than I expected. I was still really scared, but Michael, the owner, made me feel really comfortable and just kind of walked me through things, and it turned out a lot better than I was like making it in my head. So trip was amazing. And then we still haven't finished the book, guys, that I was reading behind closed doors. We're supposed to be finishing it this week, so I'll give you guys a review, like a full review. I will say I'm not as into this book as I was into the other books. It could be just like the vibe is off with this book with me, or like, with personal stuff the last 2 weeks, maybe it's been harder for me to get into it, but I'm not in love with the book. My friends, they like it. As of right now, give it like a 6 out of 10, but I'll give you guys a full ass review when I'm done with it. And then a couple shows that I'm watching. I'm on Euphoria. I know I'm behind. Everyone's like watching it when it was coming out. I watched the first season when it first came out, but the second season I was kind of a little behind. But Chris and I are catching up. We're on episode 4 now. And guys, I love the show. It's great, but the characters piss me the hell off. Like, Rue, like, it's so self-destructive, and I get it. It's like showing you the part of her life with being a drug addict and all that, but it's just so frustrating to watch as someone who like is very like controlling with their life. So, it's a younger crowd thing too. So, but we're watching that. I finished the Secret Sex Life of College Girls on HBO. I really enjoyed that one though. I give that an 8 out of 10. It's a good time waster, a good feel-good show. It's about girls and their sex lives, and it's a really good show. So definitely recommend that if you need a new show to watch. And yeah, guys, those are the only shows that we're watching besides Dexter. I haven't finished any other new ones. I think I finished Queer Eye. Yeah, the new season, very good. If you haven't watched Queer Eye, you're missing out on like amazing moments. But yeah, that's it. And then another little update. I think on the last podcast, I'm pretty sure on the last podcast I talked to you guys about, seeking help, seeking therapy. And I finally did it. I finally got a therapist. And so right now I have 2 therapists. I'm trying both of them out and seeing which one I like. One's online. They're both online, but one's like through an online service. The other one's actually here in Houston. So we'll see which one I end up sticking with, but so far it's been really good. I do prefer one over the other right now. I think, it's all about the vibe and the connection that you make with the person. And she is a little older, or a lot older, but I really like the insight that she's given me so far. And she deals with past trauma and family issues and things like that. And I've only had one session with each one, but they both already made me look into things that I hadn't looked into before. And especially the one that I'm connected with, she pointed out a lot of things that I just didn't, it kind of blew my mind. So I'm really excited. I'll keep you guys updated. Not everything, I'm not going to update you guys on all my therapy sessions, but I'll keep you guys updated. So this is your sign if you're looking for a therapist. Maybe it's time for you guys to reach out. So anyways, that's enough about my life. So today's episode, guys, it's not going to be about sex. It's not going to be anything, I guess, super entertaining. If anything, it's going to be more on like a little insight of my life and a lot of the questions that I still get on through my DMs and stuff, which is more of the like gut issues, endometriosis, and things that I deal with. So many of us females have these issues, so many. So I just finally was like, you know what, I'm going to talk about it now. And it affects me pretty much on the daily. So I was like, this is a really big part of my life. So let me go ahead and share this with you guys. And maybe you don't know that you have it and these symptoms, you'll be like, oh shit, maybe I do have this, and we'll look into it. And if you do have it, maybe some of my tips will help you. So I'm going to talk about 3 stomach issues that I have. They're not all stomach, but they incorporate the woman body and like from like my belly button to my vagina kind of thing. So 3 issues. The first one is going to be endometriosis. The second one is going to be IBS or irritable bowel syndrome. And the third one is IC, interstitial cytisis. So I think that's how you pronounce it. So those 3 I'm going to talk about. And the first one I'm going to talk about, so I'll talk about all 3. I'll go into detail of all 3, and, what they are, what I've, how I deal with them on a daily, when I find out I had them, and all that good stuff. So we're going to talk about endometriosis first, because that's the one that affects me, I guess, the most. And it's the one that like really affects like my mood the most. So most women also who have endometriosis tend to have other gut issues. So if you have endometriosis, 90% of the time you'll also have IBS. So, and that's actually a proven fact. So, maybe this is something that you have. All right. So I will say that with what I go into, I've coped with like everything I've done is like naturally. So there is like one medication that I'll go into what I take, but I try to do everything naturally. I've done my research on everything. And so if you are dealing with these issues, you can try my methods, but also, reach out for help. I don't want you guys to think like, oh, Jazzy gave me, like, I'm not a doctor or anything. Like, this is just stuff that I've researched and taken from other women and incorporated in my life and have helped me. So you can do that, but please don't come back and like say, this didn't work for me, because I'm not going to know what to tell you. So, all right. So endometriosis, what is it? So it's a painful disorder in which, similar to the tissue that normally lines the inside of your uterus, the endometrium grows on the outside. And the symptoms include very painful periods, pain during your ovulation cycle, and often with rigorous exercises, and pain during sex, certain positions. Treatments, if very severe, can have surgery, but no guarantee. And then it also may cause infertility. So this is the one that has affected me probably the longest, since I was like 13. I've always had like really crazy periods, heavy periods to the point of throwing up. Like, some months are really crazy. Some months thankfully are crazy, but they're not that crazy and intense, but it's affected me for the longest. To be completely transparent, I really think that it has been a major element into why I haven't gotten pregnant yet. When we decide that it's time to look into, getting pregnant, I do think that I will be the one with the issues just because of this. And 90% of the time it is because of, if you have endometriosis, it's really hard for you to get pregnant. So I really do think this has played a big role in that. I haven't been ready to have kids, and it does, when I do sit and talk about it or think about it, it does kind of affect me in the thought of like, when you can't have something, you start thinking about it more. So, I haven't done the test, and I haven't, which I probably should here soon because I'm 27, but I haven't wanted to do the test because I'm scared that if my doctor tells me, hey, you have about a year to get pregnant, then it'll rush my decision, and I don't want to rush that decision. But I do believe that that is one of the reasons why I haven't been able to get pregnant just yet. But yeah, guys, it's really painful. It affects me almost every day. There's probably like a week out of the month that it doesn't affect me. And what I mean is I get really bad cramping, random ass cramping. So during my periods, my cramping is really severe. My periods are really heavy for the first 3 days. And yeah, I mean, there's like practically no sex during my period. That's not like Chris doesn't like to have sex during my period, and usually I don't ever want to have sex during my period unless I'm like, for some reason, extremely horny. But my periods are not fun, guys. It's to the point of throwing up. Thankfully, I use a heating pad, which I highly recommend if you have really bad periods. Get yourself a heating pad. I didn't own one till literally like, I want to say the last year, and it's completely changed my periods. It's made it a lot more, bearable than before. And yeah, during my periods, I just fucking shove ibuprofen up my mouth every 4 to 6 hours because that's the only thing that helps with my pain. But that's during my period. And then when I'm not on my period, I still have pain. So especially during the week of ovulation, I have really bad cramps. So, it affects me. It affects my daily living because, with my spin classes and stuff like that, I've had to I have to know ahead of time, like, okay, I'm ovulating. So, or I'm about to be on the week of ovulation. So I have to take ibuprofen because if I go into this class right now, 10 minutes in, I'm going to want to throw up from the pain. And it happens. I have to leave class sometimes because I'm in so much damn pain. Sometimes I can push through the pain for like 5 minutes and then it'll go away. But honestly, almost 90% of the time, I'll have to run out to the bathroom and literally gag and just sit there because I'm in so much pain. So in order to help myself with that, I take ibuprofen. So that's like the number one thing that I do for my endometriosis is I take ibuprofen. Midol and things like that don't really help. I'll take Midol, but I'll still have to take ibuprofen. And so I take about 800 milligrams of ibuprofen. Yes, I know the liver, it's going to fuck it up. That's why I also take milk thistle as one of my supplements because, I want to make sure that my liver is also in good, healthy condition because I do pop a lot of pills during this time. I try my best to only do it in the morning. Like I know that I'm going to do spin, so I'll take my ibuprofen. It'll help push through. Sometimes I'll get a little bit of pain even with the ibuprofen, but I can push through it and then I'm good for the rest of the day. I don't have to take it every 4 to 6 hours. That's only like my first 3 days of my period. But it is something that I have to do. So that week I'm also on ibuprofen. I'm, taking it. Today, for example, I was just sitting on my fucking couch eating breakfast and out of nowhere, I started cramping, just out of nowhere, and Chris makes fun of me not makes fun of me, but he knows when I'm cramping because I just start yelling. I'm just like, I'm cramping like a bitch. I'm cramping like a bitch. You'll just hear me saying that in the kitchen. I might be cooking or giving myself water or whatever. And then I'm just like at a random, I'm cramping like a bitch. That's just the way that I express what I'm feeling. And like I said, it's really, really random and it sucks. And, from what I've learned so far with this is, you have to know when your body is in the most pain so that you can kind of help yourself. You can take some teas to help a little bit and ease yourself, like raspberry tea. Raspberry tea helps with cramps, menstrual cramps. So I'll take that sometimes. But, just knowing when I'm in pain will help me kind of rearrange my day and know okay, kind of prepare myself. Okay, I'm going to go to spin. So I want to have a good session. So I need to take ibuprofen. And, sometimes I'll go work out and I'll get the pain and I'll push through it. And sometimes I won't. And I give myself grace. So if you're dealing with that, just give yourself some grace and allow yourself to, feel those emotions and then try again tomorrow. That's all you can do when you have something like this because I know the pain is unbearable and there's nothing that you can do to help besides painkillers. And, being addicted to painkillers is a thing. And I don't want, to be like, hey, take these painkillers because they'll help, because it is scary to be addicted to painkillers. So that's why I do my best to only take it on the times that I'm really going to be hurting or I really know that I'm going to hurt. But yeah, guys, I just do my best to plan my days accordingly. My workouts, it does affect my workouts. And like I said, sometimes I'll stop, give myself a few minutes to kind of the cramps to go away, and then I'll be able to keep working out. And then there's days that I don't, and that's fine. Sometimes, if I can't work out, I'll just get on the treadmill and try like a light walk, and then it'll push through it, and I'll end up like, finishing my workout. But give yourself some grace if you do deal with it. Don't use it as an excuse, but allow yourself to feel that and then try it again. Like, don't just give up. The worst thing you can do is give up and let this disease take over you, because it can easily do that, and then you'll fall into a depressive state, and it's not good. I've been there. So what I do is I don't let this be an excuse. I just, accept it, deal with it at that moment, and then push through if I can push through. Other things that can help are birth control, because birth control can help regulate your estrogen levels. But with me, I just haven't had good experiences with birth control. It's made me it makes me worse than I am now. Like, I just don't like what the birth control does to me. I've tried different forms, so I just won't do it. I actually went to an endometriosis specialist last year, and I was hoping, she was going to give me some answers, but she said that we could do surgery if it was really severe, but even with surgery, it doesn't guarantee that you're always going to have that. You'll always grow the endometrial layer on the outside of your uterus. So we could do surgery, but in 6 months it could come back. So she was like, unless you're literally like wanting to go through the surgery process, she doesn't recommend it. So then I asked her, I was like, okay, well, what if I don't want to have kids? Like, what if I really say, no, I don't want kids, and I take out my uterus? She's like, well, that layer was still going to grow outside of your ovaries, so you'll still have the pain. Okay, so I was like, well, what if I take out my ovaries? Same thing, it's going to grow on outside of the uterus. And she was like, you are too young to get rid of your ovaries, and you're too young to get rid of your uterus. Like, we do not want that for you, because, then you go through menopause and you lose your hair, and you're like, you lose all those womanly aspects of you. So she was like, I will not do that surgery for you. So I was like, okay, well, what's the option? And she's like, just birth control. And she put me on birth control, and I fucking hated it. I was depressed. I didn't want to get out of bed. I've gained weight. It was just it's not a good thing for me. It hasn't, and that was like my last straw. Like, I did what I could. Went to the doctor, got my answers. So what I did after that is just she told me too, she's like, you're going to have to kind of notice when you're in a lot more pain than other times, and just kind of go based on that. And she told me take pain pills too to help, during that time. So take the pain pills before the pain starts, she said. Which is, okay, well, I'll just start doing that. So that's what I started doing. And then I also started researching foods to help with my estrogen levels to kind of balance that out. So you can do that. Cauliflower, things like that actually help balance your estrogen levels. So reading upon what foods help regulate your hormones will also help too. There's also a thing called seed cycling. I haven't gotten too much into that, but you take flax seeds and chia seeds, and you're supposed to drink them in the morning based on your ovulation cycle. It's a whole thing. I haven't gotten too much into it, but I know a lot of people have benefited from it. But yeah, guys, I know it's long with the endometriosis, but it sucks. It's shitty. If you have it, I'm so sorry that you have to deal with it, because it's a shitty thing to have to deal with. But, just do what you can. Take the pain pills before you have the pain, which is what my doctor told me and what I do. Drink the teas that you feel will help you the most, and just give yourself some grace. Use that heating pad. Do the things that you can do. With sex too, thankfully I have a partner who is very understanding. There's times where I can have sex in every position and there's no pain. There's times where I can literally he can't put it in doggy style because I'm in so much pain. So it just depends on my body, what my body wants to do at that moment. But thankfully, he's very understanding on that. And then I will say that my vibrator has made sex during my painful times a lot better. Like, I honestly think that's one of the reasons why I've kept my vibrator too, because it just helps. Like, if I have pain, like the stimulus of my clit just really helps me. Like, it helps not think about the pain, and the pain ends up going away. So it's like, it has helped so much. So if you have endometriosis and you haven't tried a vibrator for clit stimulation while you're having sex, try it, because I think for me, I know it's helped, so I hope that it can help you. So that's it, guys. As far as the endometriosis goes, I know it's like a lot of detail. If you don't go through it, I'm sorry if you've listened to it up until this point, but it sucks. It's a shitty thing to go through, but you know, all you can do is the best that you can, right? And help yourself. And that's what, you know, I preach about, and that's what I try to do the most. So, all right, guys. So that's it for endometriosis. Next one, IBS, which is the most common. It says a common disorder that affects the largest intestine, and so many people have it. Guys, so many women, ladies, like 90, I want to say like 70% of us have IBS. Like, it's just common. Like, honestly, like I think like out of my 10 friends, 6 of us have it. We just all have IBS. It sucks. But IBS is, I don't want to say it's treatable, because some people, you know, it's really hard to treat, but it's like bearable. You can live with it. But it just takes like you researching a lot and what foods trigger you and what triggers your IBS, because everyone is different. So the symptoms of IBS are abdominal pain, bloating, and constipation. And then some people can control the symptoms by managing their diets, lifestyle, and stress, while others may need medication. So my friend, actually, she needs medication. She actually has medication that she takes for it, and it has helped her. For me, I don't have medication. I developed IBS when I was 21. During this time, I was in prep, so my stress levels were really, really high. I was mid-prep when I developed IBS, and I remember my stomach was so bloated. I was so lean, but I still looked like I was 8 months pregnant. It was ridiculous. I went to the doctor, and she's like, yeah, from your symptoms, you have IBS. And with IBS, you can't like test it too much. It basically goes by the symptoms of what you have. I think they can test your stool too, but basically my symptoms, she was like, yeah, you have IBS, and your lead cause of IBS is your stress. So stress plays a big ass factor in IBS. So if you're stressed, your IBS just fucking flares up. My stomach starts bloating. There's like a fire pit in my stomach. It is not fun when I'm super stressed. So I try to do my best because I have anxiety and I am a stressful person, but I try to do my best to stay relaxed and not stress too much. And I've done a lot of better job since I was 21 to control and manage my stress, because before I would just be like a fucking maniac and just be stressed and just kind of like let myself be stressed. And now if I find myself that I am stressed, I kind of calm myself down. I'll do things to kind of manage my stress. But stress is the number one thing that will affect IBS. And then foods is a big one as well. So it's stress and then foods. With foods, it's all trial and error, guys. Like, you need to see what foods trigger your IBS. And I think a lot of us, and I've actually had a lot of clients who are like, well, I feel bloated and I feel bloated when I eat this. When I'm like, well, if you feel bloated when you eat that, don't eat that. You know, not just because so-and-so can eat that doesn't mean that your stomach can digest that. Like, everyone is different. And at first, guys, it was really shitty. Like, I was like so upset because I'm like, why can't I eat this? I don't want to live a life where I can't eat this and this and that, but I also don't want to live a life where I'm in pain. So I kind of accepted that, hey, I can't eat this stuff or I'm going to be in pain. And so I started kind of doing like trial and error with foods, incorporating foods. And then if I found like, okay, my stomach's hurting today, what did I eat yesterday and what have I eaten today? And then I would take out something that I thought it would be, and then I wouldn't have it the next day and I wouldn't be in pain. And I'm like, okay, it was that. And then I would incorporate it again and there'd be pain. Okay, it was definitely that. So it was like trial and error. And for me, I wrote down the things that I felt like, or I know for me, it affects me. So maybe it'll affect you. Like, for my friend and I, tomatoes. So like pizza sauce, tomato sauce, any kind of red sauce is a really big red flag when it comes to IBS. That flares up my stomach like no other. So if I have pizza, my stomach is flared up the next day. If I have any kind of pasta with tomato sauce, my stomach is flared up the next day. That raw onion, yes, raw, like white onion, like any in my tacos and stuff like that will flare up my stomach big time. So I always say no to raw onion. Tomatoes, and milk and cheese products. I'm also lactose, but any kind of milk and cheese product will always affect it. Ice cream, things like that. Spicy foods will flare up my IBS so much. So I stay away from all things spicy. I'll have spicy here and there, but very, very rare. And I can only get away with a little bit. And then crazy one is egg yolk. Anything containing egg yolk, like mayonnaise, white sauce, like, that you get in Asian restaurants, things like that would literally flare up my stomach so bad. So with all these foods, I did like trial and error until, like I said, I was like, okay, this is what hurts my stomach. And as of right now, those are the only things that flare it up. And yeah, so I just stay away from those foods. It doesn't mean that won't ever have them. I'll have them, but I already know, like, I'm preparing ahead of time. Like, okay, I had this, which means I'm going to be in pain tomorrow, which means I'm going to be in a t-shirt and I'm not shooting any content because my stomach is going to be flared up. So it's just kind of preparing ahead of time and knowing that, hey, you're going to flare up, you're going to have pain, but you're going to have to deal with it because you chose to eat that. And to be honest, I've gotten better. So like I literally will have ice cream maybe like twice a year because even though I like ice cream, my pain is not worth it. So you have to kind of weigh your pros and cons. Like, is your pain for your IBS worth what you're eating? And for me, it's just not, because it affects the way that I feel. It makes me feel self-conscious about myself because I'm bloated. I can't work out because I'm so bloated. So I just make sure that I do what I can every day to eat healthy and stay away from the foods that mess me up. Okay. Also, things that will help if I do end up eating the things I'm not supposed to eat. Peppermint teas are so helpful, guys. That is what I literally is my holy grail, peppermint teas, because it really will help my stomach. Also recently I was having, like, I think I had an episode like 3 months ago where my IBS had flared up so bad. Fennel seeds helped me so much. I actually got fennel seed tea bags and I actually crushed fennel and I made a tea out of it and it helped a lot. So it tastes like licorice, but for me, it's not about the taste. I just want help, and it really helped me. Another brand, Heather's Tummy Tea Bags. She sells it. You can buy them on Amazon. So good for IBS. She also has pills that you can take. The only thing with the pills is you have to really make sure that you eat beforehand because it can burn your stomach if you don't. But I think it's Heather's something. But I just looked up Heather's tea bag. She has medication on IBS. So that's been a major help for me. And then obviously medication if you need it. But what I said, guys, it's important to do that trial and error. Don't be fucking lazy if you're having stomach issues. I think a lot of us just get lazy and you have this pain and you complain about it every fucking day, but you don't do anything about it. What is the point of that? If you're having this pain, why are you going to live like that for the rest of your life? Do something about it. If you're having a pain, do the trial and error. Keep your foods clean and incorporate things little by little to see how your stomach reacts to those foods. And then if you know that you're causing you pain, stay away from them so that you don't have pain, because all that stuff affects the way that you feel on a daily. It affects your self-esteem. Like, I know for me, it affects my self-esteem a lot. If I'm feeling down and if I don't feel good internally, I don't feel good externally. So that plays a huge part in your everyday life. So those are some tips for you guys if you have IBS like me. So yeah, endometriosis is covered, IBS is covered. And the last thing, which is not a very common thing, but I've had some girls reach out about this. And so you may not know that you have this. So listen up. IC. So what is IC? IC is a chronic and painful bladder condition. Symptoms include pelvic pain, burning pain without a UTI, and a frequent urge to pee. It's very difficult to treat and no antibiotics have proven to work. So guys, this is a different pain from my endometriosis. IBS, all these pains are so different. They all suck. But this one is just, when I found out I had this, I remember my worst year was 2018. Yeah, 2018. Yeah. I had just moved to Texas and we were going to Alphalete, and I just remember sitting in my car and telling Chris I wanted to die. I was like, I just want to die. I can't live like this anymore. I'm in so much pain. Like, I am uncomfortable. I just want to die. Like, I literally this condition had literally just torn me. Like, I didn't want to wake up the next day. I remember I was just in so much pain. And what this is, it's not a UTI. A UTI happens when you get bacteria in your urethra. Typically, if you're having sex a lot and you're not peeing right after, or if you, people say if you stay in your damp clothes, but that's more of a yeast infection. But UTIs is just from like a bacterial infection. And you go to the doctor and you can get medication and it goes away, right? It's typically, like I said, because of that bacteria, you didn't wipe correctly, or, you didn't go pee after having sex. That is one thing I do. Like the second we're done having sex, like literally sometimes there's still cum in my mouth. I'm running to the bathroom to pee because I get so scared that I'm going to get a UTI. So it's different than a UTI, guys. This is like chronic fucking pelvic pain. Like you feel so much pain in your pelvis, like right where your uterus is, but it's like where your bladder is. And it feels like you have, like someone has a built-in fire in there. Like there's a little fire pit in there and someone's roasting like marshmallows in your fucking bladder. And it also feels like that times like a kitten, like if you had a little kitten scratching the inside of your bladder at the same time. So it's like scratching and just like an irritable scratching while it's burning. That's what it feels like. And you don't really have to pee. Like, it's not like, oh, I have to go to like a UTI, you have to run to the bathroom and nothing comes out. No, you really don't have to pee. Like, but like you still get the sensation a little bit of peeing. So when you go, like, it's just, it doesn't hurt when you go pee, but like you feel the urge to pee. It's just weird. And so it's the pain, the going, and then the thing is you pee, but you don't empty your bladder all the way. So I would pee, I would get up, and then within like 3 seconds, I'd have to go pee again. And I would go pee and like pee would still come out. So it was just me not emptying. Like it's hard for you to empty your bladder. Like it's just really hard. So within a UTI, you feel like you have to pee, you go pee, nothing comes out. With this, it still comes out because you're not emptying your bladder all the way. So I got this when I was like, 22, 23. And I was just like, what the fuck is this? What in the world is this? And when I had like my breaking point, when I was like, I want to die, I went to the doctor and she was like, it's not because I thought it was my endometriosis. And she's like, no, it's, I'm touching you in your uterus right now and there's no pain. You're not telling me there's pain. And the second she would touch my bladder, I would be in so much pain. She's like, yeah, I think you have IC. And the thing with IC, she's like, it's not curable. Like there's no surgery for it. Like there's nothing you can do. You can go to a specialist or urologist and they might put you on medication. But at that point I was like, fuck this. I'm not going to another doctor. Like I was just so upset. I already have endometriosis. I have fucking IBS. Are you kidding me? Another thing. So what I did, I went home and I did freaking extensive research on this. And I went on YouTube and so many females deal with this and there's no cure. Like there's really no cure for it. So what I did was research things to help, and I'm going to share with you guys what those things are. And they have completely changed my life. I don't deal with it anymore. The only time I feel like I have that pain now is when I'm about to start my period, just because that whole area kind of flares up, because you're about to start your period. But there's no more agonizing pain anymore where I felt like I wanted to die. So what I felt proven to work was my celery juice in the morning. I got that from the medical medium. I don't follow all his methods, but he is very knowledgeable in women's hormones and things to avoid, foods to avoid. So if you haven't heard of him or haven't read his book, definitely recommend that you do. But he talks about celery juice in the morning fasted. And I did that. I did that for like 3 to 6 months, I believe, every fucking morning. I even traveled to Mexico with a juicer. Well, I didn't travel with it. I bought a juicer in Mexico and returned. And I don't remember if I brought it back in my suitcase. I did actually bring it back in my suitcase. So now I had two juicers when I got back. But every morning before anything, 8 ounces of celery juice, and then wait 15 to 20 minutes before having food. And that really changed. Like it helped not have pain throughout the day, because it wasn't like you could take any kind of painkiller for it, because it wouldn't help. Nothing would help with the pain. So sometimes I would buy those azole pills to see if they helped. They hardly helped. But the celery juice, oh my gosh, it completely transformed my life. So if you're dealing with this, there's so many benefits of celery juice, so do it. do the celery juice until you probably have no pain. And then you might not have to do it every single day. You could do it like once every 2-3 days kind of thing. But that completely changed my life. The celery juice, it also helps with the IBS. Also natural pills such as cat's claw, turmeric for inflammation, and lemongrass. There's also lemongrass tea that I got. Actually lemon balm, not lemongrass, lemon balm tea. That really helped. The 2 supplements that I took though on a daily were my turmeric, and I still take turmeric on the daily for inflammation, and the cat's claw. I don't remember exactly what the cat's claw did, but the girl was like, I take this, and it's helped, and it literally transformed my life. So doing the celery juice with those natural pills helps so much. I also did a detox cleanse of caffeine. So I didn't take any coffee, didn't drink any coffee or pre-workouts or anything like that for about 6 months. And that really, really helped. Things like pump and things that bring in blood flow to those areas. Because, pump is supposed to bring blood flow to your muscles. Well, it also brings blood flow to that area. Would agitated. So I just stopped taking everything. I stopped taking all my supplements and just literally just water. And that's besides my celery juice. And that helped tremendously. And then after, the pain went away completely, I kind of started incorporating caffeine again. And even with caffeine, guys, I'm really particular about caffeine because some coffee does upset my IBS. So coffee could be a trigger point for you too. So I know it sucks. You may have to kind of derail from it a little bit and then add it in slowly back again. And that's what I did. So I started slowly incorporating caffeine again after the pain was completely gone. But like I said, I took like 3 months of a complete detox from that. And then all spicy foods, guys. All spicy foods. I remember I was like, at this time, I was really addicted to habanero, anything habanero flavored, habanero chicken, habanero sauce. And that shit was like, when I got rid of it, I was like, oh my God, this was flaring it up. So get rid of all the damn spicy food that you're eating because you don't realize how much it can really be affecting your IC and your IBS. So I only eat spicy food now, or anything spicy once a week, if that. If I incorporate anything spicy, it's like once a week. Like I said, I just stay away from it because I'm scared that it's gonna make me, if anything, I can deal with the IBS. I can't deal with the IC pain because it is unbearable. So take away all spicy food. But yeah, guys, it did say though with research, it says it can go away for some people and then it can also come back. I feel like for me, when I got it for like a year, went away, came back. When it came back really bad, which is the time that I was telling you guys about. And then now I feel like it's gone away. Like I said, I feel like I only get it during when I'm about to start my period, and that's about it. Thankfully, it's gone away. And that's it. I haven't been doing celery juice. I haven't done celery juice in quite a few months, guys. I need to start incorporating that back into my life because there's so many health benefits from it. But thankfully, I am just so appreciative that it hasn't come back, but I still take my supplements on the daily because I do get scared that it'll come back. But yeah, guys, just wanted to bring some light into those 3 things. I know it's not like interesting topics like, sex and relationships and dating, but it is things that us women, we go through. So I really hope that you guys connected with me in some way. And, I still try to do what I can. I don't want to be like, oh, I live with these issues and I do what I can, but I really do. Like some days my IBS affects me, some days my endometriosis affects me. And there are points in my life where there are weeks where I feel really depressed because of it. And, Chris will thankfully get me out of it and I'll do what I can to help myself feel better, but I will not let this shit take me down. I just will not let it be an excuse in my life or a reason for me not to exceed in my life. So I do what I can. And, if I can't go to spin, that's fine. I'll try working out later. I just do what I can and push through every single day. So these things don't affect my life because they can easily make you fall into a depressive hole. And if I have any advice with anything, guys, you guys know that I'm very into doing things for yourself, find solutions for yourself, do research, look on Google, look on YouTube, watch different YouTube videos to help yourself. There's so many outlets out there that you can, use to help yourself. Don't just sit on the couch and throw yourself a pity party and expect someone to help and cure you because it doesn't work that way. Do what you can to help yourself. So that's it, guys. Just wanted to share those 3 things with you guys. I deal with them, there's like a quote that says all pretty girls deal with bloating issues. And it's true, like 80-90% of us guys, we deal with shit like this. And all we can do is, help ourselves. So hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I'm sorry again for last week. I missed you guys greatly. Don't forget to 5-star this and follow us on Instagram at The Provocative Podcast. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.